In this video, we're going to show creating a parameter file, loading it onto ModUnlock, flashing a tune revision, data logging it, and then analyzing it. So the first thing I'm going to do is go and log into the parameter builder website, which I've got in my clipboard already. My username and password is saved in. You can create an account, or you can just log in with your device ID. I'm just going to log in with my username and password. Now I'm going to pop in my VIN, which luckily is already in my history. Run query. Make sure you choose the correct partner group for your VIN. Run query, and then it's got all our available parameters. Now, there's a lot to choose from. There's a lot to learn. So to make things easier, we've set up some default parameter files which can help you get going. So I'm just going to download one of the default parameters, load it in, and then see if I want to make any tweaks to it. So here we go. It's gone into the Google Drive account, which is public access. Anyone can access it. And then going to download this parameter file, which will work for most P3 petrol cars. Download. And I've got a parameter folder already set up for my stuff, so I'm going to save it into there. And then we go back to the admin dashboard and we're going to load that up. Choose file. Here's the file I just downloaded. Open it up. Upload it in. And there we go. Now we can see in the bottom window all the pre-selected parameters that we think will be useful for working on the car. And if we wanted to add any more or take any out, we can tick them and untick them and then re-export the file. I'm actually really happy with what we've got selected here. It's pretty much everything you could ever need. Yeah, I'm now going to go ahead and transfer the parameter file onto ModUnlock, and then we can go and do some data logging. So now I'm going to bring up my Windows Explorer, and I'm already in the location where I saved my parameter test file to. And we'll see down here is the Flash drive of ModUnlock Flash. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that file. Right-click, copy, or you can use Control-C, or you can drag and drop. And find the parameters folder, and Control-V to paste. In it goes, and then we're ready to go and flash the car with my new test file and then do some data logging. Right, so now we're in the car. I'm going to plug in ModUnlock. It's going to be 2 ports. And then we're going to flash on a new tune file. ECU flashing selected. Denso, it's not T2. Right. No, I don't need to make a backup. I've already made a backup. Create a backup now. No. And away it goes. So I'll pause the video now. And we come back when it's finished. Okay, and the flashing is finished, so now get back to the main menu, start logging, and you can actually start logging before the engine's running, so you can get a baseline of any sensors, make sure nothing's out of whack. So ECU logging, that's the parameter file that we defined earlier. Excuse the bad music, and start logging. There we go. We're logging 46 parameters, and looks like ready to go. Start her up and see what, and go for a drive. I like to leave mine in the door pocket, very handy. So I've been out, I've driven, I've got the car fully up to temperature, and I'm going to do a pull from 2000 RPM to the red line, which is the sort of thing a tuner would like to see. Ideally fourth gear would be better, but there we go, can't have everything. Gonna go my favourite tree. Data and see if we're getting what we want. Use ModUnlock Viewer to review it. So I'll catch you in a minute. Right, so now we're back from doing our data logging. We're going to copy our log file off onto the computer, then load it into ModUnlock and start having a look at what's going on. So I'm going to bring up my File Explorer and go on to the ModUnlock Flash drive. Go to the logs folder, and there's a file, 1.4 megabytes. I was driving for about 15 minutes, make sure everything's fully up to temperature before working. So I'm going to Control C on that, and I've got a folder ready called Compares, and I'm going to drop it in there. Control V to paste. Then I'm going to bring up ModUnlock, and we're going to load in the file. There we go. It's already, it's the last folder I looked, so it's already in the Compares folder. We're going to open it up, and that is our run, 743 seconds worth. And of course, it all looks very confusing when you first go, and you've got all the different parameters, all these things. What on earth does it all mean? And you don't have to have it as complicated as me. You don't have to have this many windows, this many parameters. You can simplify things, but this is just the way I like to have it. And over here, these yellow peaks on the first graph are the throttle blade position. And they're a really good indicator rather of when I've gone wide open throttle. And I also happen to know that the last thing I do before returning back to base is the third gear pull. So I can look over here. I can see that, click in here, and then I'm going to zoom in. And here we go. And this green peak is our RPM. So we can see this is the peak of our run, 6,800 800 RPM, which is about where it shifts. I'll just move it on a little bit. There you go, 6827 is where it shifts. And then we can actually start looking at interesting things like the pressure in the manifold, the turbo boost pressure. And an interesting thing to note is when the throttle blade is open, your turbo pressure and manifold pressure are always pretty much identical. But if you have incidents like I suffer from, where the engine decides to close the throttle blade, then you start to see you get a difference between the readings, because the restriction, the air mass is being restricted and moving into the manifold. Anyway, so how was our fueling? How's our boost? How's our knock? These are all the interesting things that we can see. What was our ignition advance? I think we're running about 16.5 degrees of advance at the top end there. Very nice. And then I've got some additional more focused screen setup. For instance, on knock, we can look at this is the actual signals from the knock sensors on the engine, and it's literally the engine talking to us. We can hear it or see what it's saying to us. This is really cool. The knock sensors are really quiet during that pull. I mean, that's absolutely fabulous. There's almost nothing going on at all. The knock adaptation, it's just the tiniest little hint. So we know we can run more ignition advance there. some temperature related intake air temps. So that's the T-map, which is the intercooler, and the intake air temperatures from the MAF. Can also bring up the trans temperature and the engine oil. So no problems there. Everything's been cooled pretty well. So the trans can get very hot in these cars. So there we go. There's just a quick rundown of things you can do with your data once you've got it in Megalog. And one thing I'm going to want to do is increase my boost, because that's not enough. We want 1.5 bar. And the manifold pressure is in kPa, which is essentially the same as bar. We live in 1 bar of atmospheric pressure, so 210 kPa is really the same as 2.1 bar, which is really the same as 1 bar, 1.1 bar of actual boost pressure. So yeah, definitely need to improve that. I've now trimmed down the log file, and so it's just the third gear pull that we just recorded. And I've also got a comparison file of my previous tune file that we can put up alongside it. So first of all, noticing I've got less throttle blade closure, which is nice. On the previous run, we had quite a bigger drop in throttle blade. And everything generally felt great on the run. And if we're looking at the ignition angle output, we're running slightly less ignition advance. So I know I can bump that up a little bit, because I know that I can run 18 degrees as I did on the previous one, and ignition advance is free power. So let's go for that. But what's most interesting is in the boost. So the TCV is at 100% duty. Turbo can't go any harder. And these two runs are the same hardware, identical hardware, just software changes. But our manifold, our boost pressure, more importantly, manifold pressure, are quite different. Now, why would that be? Why have we dropped boost? And the reason is because I forgot to do the camshaft shifting angles. So on the run I just did, we had 78 degrees of camshaft position, and the previous run 127 degrees, which meant it could breathe more easily. So there we go. And the inlet angle again, as well as the exhaust, just forgot to change them. So now we know, and now we can go and do another pull with corrected camshaft angles, and hopefully get our boost back up to where we expect to sit. This is absolute manifold pressure, so you have to take off 1 atmosphere of pressure, and these are in kPa, which is essentially bar. So for instance, 236 is really 2.36 bar. Take away the 1 bar of atmosphere that we live in is 1.36 bar of boost, or about 20 psi, something like that. So yeah, I need to adapt that map and make some improvements. But apart from that, it was running well.